Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. This video is coming from both TikTok and YouTube, and it's this guy called Dre Feenan on TikTok. He's going through a lot of backlash and getting his channels deleted and shut down because of things that he said that are triggering a lot of black folks. You know, it goes back to the whole, black people are terrible tippers or they don't tip at all. And when it comes to things like that, the reason for stereotypes is there's so much, some type of truth behind it every now and then. You know, not all. I'm not saying that all black people are a monolith. There some black people tip, some black people don't tip. I've seen it on both sides. White, black, Asian, other. I'll tip, I won't tip. It just depends on where I'm at. Like going to Starbucks. When I get my code scanned, it doesn't pop up on the code, but if you pay cash or if you pay like with credit card, it'll pop up, with a tip. Places like that, I probably won't tip just because, it's right then and there. There's no real service being done other than, they get paid their actual wage and they do the job, and that's pretty much it. Same thing like how you go to Subway or some type of fast food joint. But if you go somewhere like say Waffle House or Ruth Chris or Outback Steakhouse, wherever it's actual restaurant where you sit down and you order, and servers and waiters they go back and forth getting stuff that you need, then yeah, I'm a tip at a place like that because that person is putting in work to help your experience be that much better. So you will come back eventually with friends because you know they provide a good service for you. But what he's saying is that a lot of times when he experiences black people, they don't tip. So let's see what he has to say. It's multiple videos. So there's going to be some videos from people that want him canceled, and then there's going to be a longer video of him standing on his, 10 toes down, saying that he said what he said, and he's not going to take accountability for it because that's how he felt. So let's see where it goes.
And while I won't apologize or take accountability for the things I
And this, my good sir, is why I'm gonna get your account deleted. Your second account. Because of what you just said. Like you're tripling down, right? And that's why you deleted the last two videos I commented on. you're racist. Saying like, no, TikTok doesn't like the way I say something. No, you're racist. What you said was fucking racist. Like,
But think about it, though, is it really racist, or is he pointing out a fact? I just want to know. Let me know. In the comments below, is he right for saying what he said? That's his experience. So how are we gonna discount his experience and call him racist because that's what he normally experiences? I know everybody's experience isn't the same. Some people, depending on where you are, they'll tip. Some people won't tip. This goes like across the board, all races. But it's generally known that black people just don't tip, for whatever reason. Whether it's pizza being delivered, Uber Eats, Uber Lyft, Drive, whatever. From what I've heard, from what I see on videos, all the time, it said, black people don't tip.
are you not understanding? Like, you didn't just say like, oh, just a small amount, a small portion. No, you said all of us. Like, you tried to group us all together, and then you stood on that shit. I don't know, but bitch, you worked at the fucking Waffle House. Talking about fucking tips and rude. Bitch, you're lucky you didn't get chin checked every fucking time you worked in that bitch. Like, what are you talking about?
So I don't know if this person's making a threat or not, but getting chin checked was he working Waffle House. You know, yeah, he works at Waffle House. I don't know if that was like slight on him, like, oh, you work at Waffle House. But still, everybody has to have a job. But the point is that this guy said what he said. He's standing on it. He feels that black people don't tip. How is it racist? This guy is also, mind you, he's mixed race. So that's in a whole different debate. But whatever. Let's see the next video.
The consequences of my own actions was a person. Dre Feenan would be the living embodiment of this. So let me tell you about this person. This guy had over 12,000 followers, but he was getting his followers by rage baiting. He was saying all his black customers are ghetto, they are the worst people he serves, and he was doubling down on it because he was getting views and engagement from it. But the issue is when you're baiting for engagement, you may end up being banned. And this is exactly what happened to this person. And now you see he went from 12,000 followers to 88
Damn.
followers. And ever since then, he's been making video after video acting like, oh, this shit don't affect me. If I did it once, I'll do it again. But then in the next video, he's crying like a fucking bitch. And it's because of the consequences of your own fucking actions.
Think about that. How many people do that though? They'll make a video, and then a lot of people have a reaction to that video. They'll dox the person. They'll locate them, and then that person comes up with a follow-on video, or they'll delete their account, go into hiding because of the backlash. Or they'll post a video about them crying or them going through some type of turmoil for hate because everybody hates me because of what I said. Same thing like the whole Shiloh lady that called the kid the N-word. You say what you say, and then when people comment on it or come at you, then you want to, backpedal. But if you felt that way, stay that way. Just explain why you said it. Like same thing with this guy. He said what he said. He feels that type of way. What they can do is just don't go to that store anymore. Don't go to the Waffle House where he works at. Put your foot down, protest. But also what people do is they'll ban. They'll report the account. Is it racism? I don't know. It's like it says, it's a gray line. He's like, could it be? Could it not be? He said what he said. Like a lot of black people, they say stuff about white people and other races all the time, but there's never a backlash for that black person. But when somebody else says it, lighter skin complected, then we want to pearl clutch. We want to, talk about them, get them banned. So we got to keep it even across the board. I know a lot of people probably, go in the comments of this video that I'm doing right now, and they'll probably, downvote it or, thumbs down or whatever, make their comments. I get it, just because I don't follow certain things that other people do, I'm just reporting what's being said. I can have my comments, my opinions on it, but people want to judge people on their opinions. We no longer have right of free speech anymore because people get in their feelings about it.
And the fact that you're a mixed person and you're out here making content trying to tear down black people or black customers, you deserve to lose your fucking page. And seeing you cry about it and try and make content to get back to where you were, you showed who the fuck you were and people ain't fucking with it. Now you gotta deal with the consequences of your fucking actions.
But is he tearing black people down now? He's not calling them names like, oh, black people this, black people that, they stink. He's not saying it like that. He's talking about his specific experience. Black people don't tip. Black people are rude. That's what he experienced. Maybe he had a bad day when he did this video. I don't know. Maybe, whatever his experiences is, people want to come in and judge him off of the experience. Because when people do it to say, like a black man says, I'm tired of this because of this. And then people want to, shame him because of what he experiences. Oh, you're a man. You ain't supposed to cry. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to man up. You're supposed to figure it out. They downplaying his experience. Maybe this is the same thing for this guy. Maybe he's going through some stuff and he wants to talk about it. But, that's the thing about the internet, though, where you say something, the world's going to judge you. Once you post it and put it out there, it's up for scrutiny by all walks of life. But here's another video coming in from Anton Daniels. I'm going to show you just a second here. This is the initial video, and Anton Daniels, he commented on it right afterwards. So let's see what he has to say.
Working as a server, you'll quickly learn that black people are the most annoyingly entitled people you'll ever have to deal with. I used to work at Waffle House, and this same black lady came in every single day, and when I tell you she was the most entitled, broke person you'll ever meet, she would police the entire process. She came in there every day, got a sausage, egg, and cheese grit bowl. She wanted her eggs cooked like they were made at house. She wanted her sausage burnt just the right type of way. She wanted the cheese melted just right. She wanted the grits to be the perfect consistency. When she walked in every day, I would have to show her the grits to make sure she agreed.
There's a question, off topic, but I hate grits. I hate the way they taste. I hate the consistency. Does that make me a less black person? Let me know, because I got family members who eat grits. I got family members who hate grits. So I don't like grits, and they talk shit about me. So let me know.
Agreed with how they were made. And she wouldn't just tell me what she wanted. She would sit on the high counter right next to the cook and police the entire process. As the cook is cooking and we're in a busy store, she's sitting there trying to tell him specific ways he needs to be flipping the eggs, telling him to hurry up and take off the sausage before it gets cooked too much. And she would always rush me every day because
Sounds like she should either cook at home or get a job at Waffle House so she can cook it the way she want before she goes to her other job, right?
She had to get to work. Like, I give a. And it's like, I would be cool with all this if she ever tipped me anything. But no, nothing. She would be my most annoying customer of the day, and she never tipped me $1. No matter how nice I was. Never $1. This is where I kind of started to be racist, I guess, when it comes to serving black people. I can't. I'm not going to treat y'all as good as I treat everyone else because I.
But let's be honest though. Do light-skinned black folks actually feel a type of way about darker-skinned black folks? Also comment on that down in the comment section, because me and my fiance, we go back and forth all the time. You know, me, I'm obviously mixed. I'm a little bit darker, but she's about his complexion, a little bit lighter. And we talk about this all the time.
I know I'm gonna get treated like, and y'all aren't gonna tip me $1. Don't get me started on if a family of black people walked in. Oh my God, I would damn near start crying. I would ask every other server there, like, can y'all please serve this table? Please. I do not feel like it.
I hear so many different stories from my own family members that have been in the service industry. I will tell you, as a person that has participated in multiple different restaurants, I've never actually been a server, or any tip that I've assisted with, I always gave it back to the staff. And of all of the different businesses that I've invested in, I've never had more complaints than from black people. And I'll do you one better. Every single time that I drop a video, including this one, go ahead and tap into the comments and look right and see what people are saying. They are going to be the only demographic of people that say that I don't believe in tipping.
You know what? He just spit a fact right there, because I've been on older TikTok videos, I've been on other YouTube videos about the whole tipper culture, because I remember it's always been a thing. All of last year, even into this year, there's news reports about the whole tipping culture. You know, should we not? Where did it come from? How did it originate? You know, do they do it overseas in other countries? And I've always seen comments from what pictures I can see. Like on Facebook, I can see who you are. They leave comments like, I don't tip because of this, I don't tip because of that. And though now the whole thing is, if you can't tip or you don't tip, that means you can't afford to be out getting something to eat. You should stay home because you can't afford to tip. But is that the case though? You know, I know some people tip, like I tip, like I said, when I go to certain food restaurants, I will. Or if I go, say, get a manicure, pedicure, make sure I'm right because I wear sandals and shit like that. You know, I tip. You know, because like the little Asian ladies, they be putting it in, they be getting it in, they do a good job. So if you do a good job, I'm going to pay you, reward you handsomely.
Oh, if you do exceptional service, you run back and forth to the kitchen, you put a cherry on top of the grits, then I will give you 50 cents. But I'm telling you, people hate, and they absolutely hate. And I over tip. I usually tip about 100% of whatever it is that my bill is. People hate, despise, can't wait to see people coming and going when it comes to black people, especially black women, coming into a restaurant because they do not anticipate ever getting a tip whatsoever. And it's funny because I've never seen a group of people that advocated so much against higher prices. And then they say that restaurants need to change their ways and then go and pay everybody a livable wage. Do y'all understand how razor, and when I say razor thin restaurant profit margins are? And don't even get me started on Africans. Might be the
I heard about
cheapest
the
people
Africans.
ever. I think that the video that I'm dropping tomorrow, as far as a clip for the Q show, a video that I'm dropping tomorrow, a woman, an African woman on there was saying that they never, ever believe, they don't care if it's Instacart, they don't care if it's DoorDash, they not ever taking into consideration what your circumstances are. They don't care if they don't pay you nothing. They're expecting for you to treat them great, and they do not anticipate ever tipping. Now, one of the caveats, and I'm going to play the rest of this video, one of the caveats that I hear people say a lot of times is, well, overseas, they don't do that. They
That's a
don't
lie.
expect for that. They just pay their people a livable wage. I will tell you that you are a liar. You are a liar. I've been to a lot of different places,
Me
and I know
too.
for a fact that the people anticipate, or I'm sorry, not anticipate, the people appreciate. They are ecstatic and they are living and you can't, I'm telling you, you will change their lives if you tip, especially if you tip in according to how it is in American culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't understand why people feel compelled to go out to eat. I won't go out to eat with people that don't tip. If I find out that you a cheapskate when it comes to going out to eat,
That's funny because you say he don't tip with people when you find out people don't tip, or you don't go out with people they'll tip. Like, cause me and my fiance we go all the time, and she'll, what's the bare minimum? Yeah, I'll tip. I don't have an issue. I'll do like the 18 to 25, 26% or whatever. It don't make me no difference. And you put out there, you put the app on the phone, how much the tip is. I'm like, I look at it, the bill's $58. I'll maybe take like 65. I do at least 10 over what I normally do, whatever it is. If it's like $80, I do 20. So it's just depends on how you tip. If you got money, don't have an issue with it. Granted, not everybody's gonna always have money to tip like that. Give what you can, but 50 cents, that's a slap in the face. Because especially if you had this person running back and forth like Johnny on the spot, like, I need this, I want this, I want this, I want that, and you're demanding and you don't get nothing, that's crazy. But if you do that and you tip them, handsomely, then okay, you made them work for it, they worked for it, and you give them, more than 18, 20%, okay. But if you just do all that and he still, you give you, A-rated performance and you tip them or don't tip them at all, that's pretty fucked up.
because going out to eat is kind of like a celebratory thing. It's not an entitled thing. It's more like, yo, this is a blessing. This is a privilege. You know what I'm saying? Even with having money, with you having the ability to go to the store,
Hmm.
put the ingredients down, cook yourself, take your trash out, wash your own dishes, use your own energy. And you guys feel as though you are doing people a favor by allowing for them to serve you. And then you have the nerve to have a bad attitude and then send stuff back and then don't even want to pay your bill and stuff in the
Hmm.
first place. I
They
can
try to take
understand
stuff
it. And
off
I
the
don't
bill.
think that it's racist. I don't think that it's racist at all to anticipate.
I see it all the time. I heard people at other tables across. I've been with people that try to get stuff taken off. Oh, they didn't say that well. Can you take this off? And they eating like 80% of the food. And you see it all the time. Then they want to get in this big, arguing match at the table that I'm at. I'm like, it's ghetto. I hate to say it, but, just eat the food or don't eat the food. Don't eat it and then I'm not going to pay for that. Like I said, I know black people aren't the only ones who do it. But when I'm out, I see like my family members, they do it. So I'm like, ugh.
What you think a certain culture is going to do because y'all have too many of y'all. Too many of y'all. I just came back down from the bar and I was vlogging it, so I'll probably drop a vlog tomorrow or Monday. Just came back from the bar and just browsing, paying attention. I have to be situationally aware of different things because I always use that for content. And I seen them tip $1.50. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Made no sense whatsoever. Tip $1.50. Crazy. And I'm sitting at the bar, right there in the lobby. I think that people just anticipate people being cheap no matter what.
Because you're so annoying. You're so fucking annoying and you're so entitled and you're so rude. And it would be okay if you're giving me some money. Because Mexicans, they are super entitled and rude as well. But you know what? They always give me a tip. You guys hate when people talk about racism and shit. But it's like, bro, it's just pattern recognition. If every black person that walks in is ghetto and treating me rude every day, then obviously I'm gonna say that black people are rude and ghetto because that's how y'all treat me every fucking day. Every black person that walked in, it never failed. And I hated it. I hated that it never failed because I would always hope to find one black person, one black family that treated me any differently, that treated me nice.
Yeah, good luck with that, big dog, especially working at the Waffle House in the ghetto environment. I remember a
Boy.
video that he did. This was one of the dudes. I believe he was crashing out and he was crying because he was saying that life is too hard. So I don't take what he says too much into consideration. I'm always considering the source, but I can't just act like what he's saying is not real. He did say a while ago that he worked at the Waffle House. He did say that he was frustrated that it was so bad. And he was crashing out if I remember correctly, because I think I did a reaction video to it.
Yeah, like you said, there's a couple videos on his, well, his other account got taken down. But from what I saw, it was videos of him crying Yeah, he seems like, he seems like the type that'll cry like a lot. But there's a couple of videos of him crying about the situation and how he feels unfairly treated, stuff like that. As far as him working at Waffle House, and a lot of people, some of the comments I read, like, "Once you quit your job, you work at Waffle House. It's not that serious." But honestly, I don't know where he actually is, but I know the Waffle House that I've been to, when I was stationed in North Carolina, Fort Bragg, down in Texas, going to Dallas, Oak Cliff specifically, boy, he would not last one bit at those Waffle Houses because they don't play. You go 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, yeah, they would hand him his ass every day. But I got this other video, his last video he just came out with 2 days ago. It goes into him standing, 10 toes down on what he said. So let's get into this last video.
You'll quickly realize that black people are the most annoyingly entitled people you'll ever serve. And I'm not speaking on everyone, just my experience. I've never had a good one with black people. I worked at Waffle House for a full year, okay? I spent the first 6 months giving everybody a chance, treating everyone with the utmost respect, all right? And the only people who didn't reciprocate that respect, black people. The only people who were rude to me and didn't tip, black people. I have nothing against black people outside of my job, outside of serving. Yes, I love y'all. The culture is amazing. But when it comes to serving y'all and having to tend to your needs, you're very needy and you're very disrespectful when it comes to, getting what you need. When you need a refill, you fucking yell at me. You know what I'm saying? You yell at me and rush me to hurry up and get your food to you. And it's just...
I only laughed or giggled at that because I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. And, there's some truth to what he's saying. But the thing is, when you tell people, your truth or the truth, how you see it, it'll trigger them. They don't like to hear about themselves. The same thing, like, when you tell a woman, I'm not, it may seem like I'm picking on a woman, but on women, but when you do say something and, you call them out on it, or even you call black people out on it, white people, whatever, you call somebody out on it, they get defensive and then they want to retaliate. That's what's happened to this guy. He calls people out and this is what he's getting. They're retaliating by getting this, channel deleted.
It's just a fact. You come to Waffle House expecting a home-cooked meal. And I'm not kidding, everything had to be cooked a specific way. And when I had to deal with a family of 10 people and y'all all want specific ass meals, yeah, it gets hard, yeah, it gets annoying. Especially when on top of the fact that y'all all want special shit, y'all are also annoying. Y'all also want refills every 10 seconds. And you also leave me no tip. And I'm not kidding, I cried when I had to serve a family of black people. I did. And what, y'all think?
Can't be out there just crying in public, dog. You need to toughen up. That's not masculine. Trigger word. But yeah, you gotta toughen up, big dog.
Think I'm gonna serve a whole family and not try to get a tip? Yeah, I tried. When it was a whole family, I tried to treat them the best as possible because I'm hoping, like, yes, I'll get a good tip maybe. But yeah, it just never happened. It never did. It never did. So yeah, I gave up. Yeah, I sure fucking did. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. Like...
But yeah, that's how he feels. There's other videos out there of other servers, black, white, Asian, other, saying the same stuff about black people, not tipping. Not just black people, but a lot of them are tailored to black people and how they don't tip. But like they say, stereotypes exist for a reason. So, I've seen it firsthand. I know pretty much a lot of other people out there have. The people that's going to probably comment on this video probably have as well, but they don't want to admit to it. We don't take a deep look into our own selves and see, am I part of the problem? But that's my comments. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you next video. Peace.